Welcome to another inspiring episode of the Elite Expert Insider Podcast. Hosts Melanie Johnson and Jenn Foster are the owners of Elite Online Publishing. They're both Wall Street Journal, USA Today best-selling authors. We're really glad you're here because this podcast was designed for you. Meet industry experts that share their secrets and strategies. Get successful results for your business in money, relationships, health, and your life. Each episode is going to inspire you to take action towards reaching your greatness.
All right. Hey, guys. So here we are. We're having another great podcast today. This is Melanie Johnson. Hi, Jenn.
Hey, how's everyone doing today?
All right. Well, we're doing fantastic. We have a great show today. If you have felt like you are standing in your own way, I can't tell you how many times I just think, why is this not happening? And I realize maybe I'm the problem. I'm standing in my own way of making things happen. Well, we have an expert that's going to give you steps to growth, how to get out of your own way, new ways to define success, develop the confidence, and the big thing, stay accountable. So if you're in for any of those things for your personal life, for your business life, for your family life, you're in the right place today. We have Susan Stutzel, and she's joining us to answer a lot of those questions. Hey, Susan, thanks for coming.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's great to be here this morning.
Well, tell us, Susan, a little bit about yourself and how you got started in this industry.
I'd love to. I got started in the coaching industry really because I saw the value of coaching for myself. And when I realized really the transformational change that can have, I thought, you know what, that's something that really lights me up. And I want to be a part of changing other women's lives because, oh my gosh, if I can do it, like anybody can do this and have an amazing life.
That sounds great. So tell us a little bit about, like you talk about 5 steps to growth, and one is the mindset. So how do you get into someone's mindset and get it in the right space? Because we get in our own way with that. We tell those negative stories and, oh, I can't, or, how do you get over that?
That's a good one. And it's hard, right? So I think first of all, it's recognizing it's a process. It's not an overnight, like, oh, I need to change my mindset, I'm just going to do that. It's not as simple as flipping the switch. And I think, we like to have things that are just like an easy change, but that like getting in our own way is definitely about the self-talk, the voice that's in your head and all the things that you've told yourself that you've come to believe that, and many of those things, just like you said, it starts with I can't, or I'm not, or I won't, or I don't, those negative things. And when we tell ourselves those over and over again, then we believe it about ourselves. So shifting the mindset is really a process that involves kind of listening to yourself and starting to recognize where you're stopping yourself, where you're holding yourself back because of those negative thoughts, and then making the choice at that moment, like taking that thought captive and saying, okay, I reject this. I don't want to use this anymore. But then you have to replace it with something else. And it can't just be now I can, because our brains don't understand how to just flip like that. Yeah. So we have to choose a mantra or choose an affirmation, something different, that then we tell ourselves that over and over and over again until we believe that. And so it really is a process. And there are days that you're like, yeah, I am nailing this. And there are days that it's like, oh, I recognize here I am again. And so it's just always making that improvement, that incremental improvement every day.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of jump in here, Jenn, because I've been taking care of my mom who recently had a stroke. So, she's someone, it's like it's Groundhog Day. Like you're waking up and you're still in that bad space. Your body hasn't changed. You can't do things. And how do you, you're changing your mantra, but if your situation stays the same, like people may be ill, they're going through different things with COVID, or they've had something physical happen to them, or even their business. How do you keep telling yourself that even though when it's Groundhog Day, you feel like nothing's happening, you're not moving forward?
Yeah, interesting. And I think, especially this last year and a half has been kind of a Groundhog's Day effect where we're kind of waking up and, okay, I can have all the positive thoughts I want, but guess what? Once I, take my first step into the day, here I am again. But it really is about noticing where your thoughts are and shifting your perspective. Because I think of all of the things that we, had to stop doing, when the pandemic hit, all of the things that impacted us really all at one time, it brought a lot of us to a space that was challenging and difficult to walk through and to wade through. But it really does come down to the perspective and really pulling out the gratitudes. What do I have to be grateful for today? And, when we focus on those, and really, I'm a firm believer in the morning routine and starting our day off right. And when we can start off our day, with some space for ourselves, with some gratitudes, with some mindset work, I really believe that can set us on a path for success for the day, where we have that more positive outlook, and even reflection at the end of the day can be beneficial as we go through. Yeah, exactly. Things like that feel a little bit like Groundhog's Day, that don't feel like they're getting better on a daily basis.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on when you talked about your morning routine, because, it's kind of a big thing right now. I keep hearing it over and over the last couple of weeks is, making sure you do not touch your phone the first 30 minutes of when you wake up. And I was thinking, okay, well, my alarm's on my phone, so I actually touch it the first second I wake up. So it's like, okay, well, maybe I can put it in the other room, turn off the alarm, and then do something else. But I think people check their phone, and then it's, checking to see, oh, who texts me? What appointments do I have? What's this? Instead of doing that morning routine where you wake up, you say 3 things or 10 things you're grateful for, write them down, journal, meditate, all the different things that you can, whatever's in your morning routine or what you want to accomplish. If you do those things, like, it will change your whole day. So I think it's tough, because even kids today, like, the first thing they do is, who texts me? And then that's the first thought is, no one texts me. Oh, then there's, then they're sad. So It's like, no, it's not about that. Right. So I just heard someone say, who's the most important person in your life? And it should be you. It should be yourself. So you take care of yourself first, and then you can take care of other people. So I think that's really important what you said. So mindset is really good. Do you have any specific, like, books or motivational videos you watch, or how do you get in that mindset if all you keep thinking is the negative? What do you do?
Yeah, I think you hit a really important piece there, and it is that morning routine. And you're right. I'm hearing that same thing all the time. And I'm with you. My phone is my alarm in the morning. And so I think part of that depends on, like, disciplining ourselves to say, I'm going to turn off my alarm, but I'm not going to open up my phone. I'm not going to scroll. It's an alarm clock right now. And so, making that choice. And then I think it's also about just those daily disciplines, having that morning routine to put yourself first and decide, how do I want to start my day? I think, like, I loved morning routines before morning routines were cool, but I think that is something that I tend to be someone who can discipline myself. But it's a discipline, right? Like, I have to decide the night before that I'm going to set my alarm for this specific time, because I need that amount of time to do my morning routine before my day starts. And so it's really about those kind of pre-decisions, deciding the night, not deciding in the morning that, oh, now I'm going to snooze a little bit, or, oh, I don't feel like the morning run, or, whatever it is. If we haven't decided ahead of time, we're much more easily going to put it off for one more day, right? But making those, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's easy to do, but it's that daily discipline of saying, here's what I'm going to do. And whenever we do that, I think we recognize, I fed myself first, I filled myself up first, and now I'm ready to pour into others. Because I think, especially as women, we are supporting others all day long, whether it's children that are growing up in our home, whether it's just our families, whether it's now our parents that we're supporting, right? Like, I think, especially in our age group, we're starting to recognize this, okay, my kids are growing up, but now parents are aging, and I'm going to be a caretaker always. And so knowing that about ourselves, when we recognize, I've got to fill up so that I can then serve others best, that is so important. And I'm a huge reader. I love to read. I love really great inspirational books. One of my very favorites is Mindset by Carol Dweck. Of course, all the work that I do on mindset, naturally, that would be near the top for me. That one was really life-changing for me. I love The Power of the Other by Dr. Henry Cloud. I think there's a lot of value in that, in just being able to ask others for help and rely on others. I love how he says that we were born seeking a connection, like just like our cell phones, they're always looking for that best connection. So are we. Like, we are so much more filled up when we truly connect with others, and that can really start us off on a great path too.
So let's kind of shift into, we've got our mindset going, and trying to define what we want. Right? And what means success for you? So they always say, well, you have to know what you want. So sometimes I think we just go through the motions of every day of doing it, and we may say, oh, this is, I don't like my life, or I wish I had something else. But what is that something else? And how do you create that space to truly think for yourself and define what success is for you?
That's one of my very favorite subjects, is defining success for yourself. Because just like you said, like, we can find ourselves very busy. We can easily get caught up in the hustle of, here's what I got to do next. I'm going here now. Here's where I'm headed, setting goals, like shooting our way to the top. But yet we've got to stop and think, what is it that I really want? Because at the end of the day, we really do what we decided was most important for that day. Mm-hmm. But yet, like, just like you said, sometimes we get to the end of the day and are like, oh, like nothing. I didn't feel like anything was important, or I didn't feel like anything was quite right. So I love working with women toward building that success for themselves, and just through coaching, giving that space to decide for you, what is it that's most important for you, and then working toward that. And so saying yes to the things that really guide you down that path, and being intentional about what choices that you make, what things you say yes to, so that you can say no to 1,000 other things. Because staying focused on, here's my goal, and I believe that from a holistic perspective, because I think so many books and so many seminars are geared toward, set the goals, like, have this as your strategy, here's how you do it, and just kill it as a career. But then we've got to stop and think, but I also want to raise my children to be really great humans. I also want an amazing relationship with my husband. I don't want to sacrifice one for the other, but yet my career is also really important. I want all of it. And I think too often we've been made to think we have to choose one or the other. I either have to stay home and raise a family, or I can choose a super successful career. And honestly, I kind of believed that when I started. But we really can have it all. We just have to look at it from that big picture perspective. What do I want, and how do I get there in a realistic way? By making the right choices every single day, by, setting out that vision of, here's this life that I can see myself absolutely loving. Now, what do I need to do to get there? And so often it's choosing to say no to all of the other things that come up that sound really great, but are not, exactly where we're headed.
Yeah. I think what you were talking about with balance, like, for me, I know that goal or that success that you're achieving, like, sometimes I have to, like, look at it and reassess, like, what is it really? Or the nights when like you said, sometimes you're like, I didn't even accomplish anything today. And you're just like, like, what did I even do today? But if you take that minute, like we were talking about with the writing things down and the meditation, take that minute to write down your gratitude of the things you're grateful for before you go to bed, and what things you actually did do. Like, it might be that you just did laundry, or it might be that you just did the dishes, but that's still towards your goal of achieving, that balance, right? Instead of having a messy house, or you didn't reach your goal of a certain amount of money, but maybe you have a clean house. You know what I mean? So I think you kind of have to reassess what is success. And I keep hearing over and over that failure stuff, like, oh, you have to fail so many times before you succeed, and that kind of thing. And I think that's another thing we have to define, is what is failure to us, right? Because I think sometimes we have such high, like, we think failures when you're at rock bottom, but it's not. It's just the little mistakes you make, and then you correct those. So I think what you're talking about is really important, of defining what that is for you. And it might not be the Disney princess. It's something totally different, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you nailed me for sure, because that was really when I had my pivotal moment, was recognizing, like, I feel like I'm failing at everything. I feel like I'm shortchanging my family and only like half there when I'm there and thinking about work. And when I'm at work, I'm thinking about not being with my family, and just like feeling torn from all perspectives and feeling like I'm failing at everything. But yet stepping back, I love that. Like at night, just consider, what did I do today? Because sometimes if we really stop and think about it, the number of things that we do that we give no credit for, right? That we don't even think about, that we just do it, like that is a success. Like maybe it wasn't, like you said, maybe it wasn't reaching that revenue goal, or maybe it wasn't bringing on that new client. But guess what? At the end of the day, my family feels loved. And I made those, phone calls that I had to make to schedule those appointments. And, now that's done. And tomorrow I can start off and focus. So it really is about those daily decisions. And yeah, I'm a huge advocate for at some point really tracking your time to see what you're spending time on, because I think that reveals two things. I think it reveals where maybe we're not spending our time the best way, but it also reveals all those little things that we do and we've never given ourselves credit for, that no one notices, but it made our lives better. And we did it just under, the guise of the mom or the business owner, or, whatever hat we were wearing in the moment.
All right, so let's dive into having the confidence to do that. So to feeling confident about yourself, and then how do we stay accountable during all of this?
Yeah, that's great. Accountability is such a key piece of the coaching process, really, because when you think about it, like you can set a goal to do almost anything. But if you set a goal and know that someone later is going to ask you about that goal or how you're doing with that, you're much more likely to stick with it because they're going to ask. That can be such a huge piece of really grounding yourself in where you're headed, but also having kind of a support system behind you to keep moving toward that. And working on the confidence piece, that's really as individual as we all are, how we develop that confidence, what we step into. And I know for me, early in my career, I was kind of in this like fake it till you make it mode. Like, okay, I'm just going to like step in and walk in this way. And I think that there's a little bit of like, it kind of works, but at some point, I think we also have to recognize that that for me, like it's also stepping into who I am and recognizing, what is my voice in all of this and who am I becoming in this process? And then recognizing the steps that we've made along the way, looking back on who we were yesterday, who we were a year ago, to say, this is how far I've come. Like, okay, that's great, but where do I really want to be? Do I want to be, is this good for me? Or do I want to take it to the next level? Do I want to walk into a room feeling like I can still be who I am in that space and not feel like a total imposter, that, oh my gosh, somebody might figure out that I don't really have it all together. And, I'm not living in this perfect life that I'm, trying to exude on the outside. But really, I think confidence is walking into a room, confident in who you are and comfortable in your own skin to be able to, start conversations with people you don't know, or to have conversations with those that you do know on a really authentic level, so that you, again, just can be who you are. Because when you recognize those strengths that you have and build on that, like that's really your superpower. And when you can live in that, that's where your confidence comes from, is really recognizing that strength or those strengths that you have and then letting those shine through.
Those are all such great things. I think we could talk about this forever, like all day. But I do want to ask, where can people go to find more information or hire you as a coach? Like, how does that all work?
Of course, checking out my website at sstutzelcoaching.com. And I have some great information out there. There's some freebies as far as time management and just defining success for yourself. So that's a great place to learn a little bit more about me. And I am also on LinkedIn at Stutzel Coaching there as well. So yes, I would love to connect. Yeah, I could talk about this all day long too, obviously. So I'll be quiet now. But yeah, thank you for this.
Yeah,
Thanks,
we'll put the link up and people can click on that in the YouTube or on the show notes.
Yeah, if you'd like to see the video version, you can find it on YouTube. All our episodes are on YouTube. So thanks for stopping by. And remember, if you're thinking about writing a book, contact us at Elite Online Publishing, Jenn and I's company. We will take care of you. Just fill out a submission form and go from there. So we'll see you next time right here at Elite Expert Insider.
Bye.
Hey, are you looking to increase your revenue, build credibility, and elevate your brand? This podcast is brought to you by Elite Online Publishing, an innovative publishing and full spectrum marketing company. They will publish and market your book to make it a #1 bestseller. Becoming an author is the best way to market your business. So contact them at eliteonlinepublishing.com today. All of their authors become #1 bestsellers.